Yes. So James had a few different victories in my experience working with him. Primarily, I would say that there was two. One was more systematic or approach based, and one was more product based. So we struggled a little bit as a team before James worked with us with some software that was really designed for use on a single computer, right? And as we move into the future, we realize the importance of making that more connected, more available to users on a wider network. And so James was instrumental in implementing changes, not just technical changes to make the product better, but a more holistic approach to the whole way we approach the software that allowed us to use the software the way it should be used on the cloud or in a networked environment in general. So two places that really shone there. Number one was the way that we do identity and authorization and authentication. So building in a whole infrastructure to support that in a really safe, secure, and stable way that was also extensible and modular should we need to make changes in the future. And the other big thing that he helped us with was just the services and the communication between the different components. And so it really lifted us, a log factor into the next phase of the software. So very challenging, but he was a great addition to the team for that effort. The other big victory, I think, was in a way we approach risks for the cloud-based software. So he's, again, instrumental in implementing a threat model using, I think, the OWASP top 10 and a couple other well-known models to really hammer at where are the vulnerabilities in our system and how should we think about addressing those vulnerabilities. So with those two big things, we were able to sort of move into the next phase of our approach to that product. Yes. So James, in my experience, is a great architect. He looks at things from the big picture, but he also has the skill set and experience to dive down to the details where necessary. So I think the skills that really that we really got a lot of benefit from. Number one, just the technical expertise, especially in the .NET realm and with the Microsoft stack. The ability to really quickly have a suite of potential solutions and sort of tools in your toolbox to draw from and solve problems quickly. But he also looked at these problems from a perspective of how should the team be approaching these. So not just find the correct solution, but how should we think about identifying what's important in a solution and looking at the different solutions in terms of their component parts to make sure that we do it right. And so that came from not just the code and the different tools that we're using, but also things like the code standards, the design patterns, all these different pieces that are important to build a product that's robust on many different levels. Quality of the work, I think, is very high. I think James takes pride in his work. I think it's important to him that it's done correctly and thoroughly. So I don't see any corner cutting. I see a lot of high quality, well-reviewed code. I think, like I said, he takes pride in the quality of the code. So it's easy to read. You can flow as you review. It's able to follow his train of thought, and you know that you can trust the quality of the code. It will work the way it's supposed to. One of the things I know about James working with him on sometimes in many late nights is that when there's a problem, he's going to chase down that problem and make sure that he gets not just the answer to that problem, but also kind of backtrace all the different ways that problem could have occurred and make sure that that problem won't occur in the future and any like it won't as well. So it's more than just solving that one point solution. It's able to look at it from a much broader perspective. It was a pleasure working with James as part of a team. As an architect, you can kind of get siloed into a very specific way of working where you're the expert and you kind of beholden to the knowledge built into that person. Not the case with James. He really cares about people as people. So it was a pleasure to work with him. Just good conversation. But another thing that he's really good at is taking the time to help someone understand what it is that he's doing. So that comes from either work that he did on his own and he wants to communicate that out to others, or when you're teaching or leading someone else to do something they'd never done before. So if it's something he's done before, he's able to guide them through that process. And if it's new to both of them, James is willing to jump in there and work with them to find the answers as he goes. So he takes the opportunities to learn along with whoever he's working with. So I think that was great. Like I said, he's a personable person. I really enjoy talking with him. So yeah, it's a really good communication skills.